Hello everybody and welcome back to the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth, plus we are back again playing with Fiendfolio and Ipecac as always, and we are jumping into a new run. Let's see, what shall we do today? Still got a lot of stuff to do with Apollyon, and I'm still having a really genuinely very hard time sort of getting Apollyon going. We do have to do Azazel with the, I think this is Light Path, right? Yeah, I think that's Light Path, the Polaroid, so I guess let's do that. We haven't played as Azazel in a while. I mean, you guys know why. I find Azazel to be a little bit dull, not because he's overpowered, which he definitely is. It's more so for me, the reasoning of mainly, he just has so many, okay, that's not great. For me, he has so many anti-synergies. There's so many of my favorite items that just do absolutely nothing with this guy, and I actually think by the looks of it, a lot of that sort of stuff will end up, do you know what? The speed down's horrible, but we already have high speed, so I'm going to take it. But yeah, one thing I am thinking is that that'll kind of be mostly fixed with Repentance. Like, they are planning on adding... Oh, that's an explosive one. They are planning on adding many, many more synergies. And I think... At least I feel like, for the most part, Azazel will get a little bit of a tweak or workaround with some of his items and Little Brim not working with them to their fullest potential. And there's a lot of missed potential. One of the interesting things in design spaces of the Binding of Isaac that's kind of an odd one, but also it's difficult to really put into words, but the way that a lot of the more powerful items are the ones that have the most synergies. Like, Brimstone has a lot of synergies for a base tier modifier, or tier change, I don't know what you really want to call it. And it has a hell of a lot of synergies with a lot of different things, whereas normal tiers don't quite have that. But the shorter Brim doesn't. But you tend to find that with this game, the more powerful items, even like Epic Fetus, have some really interesting and good synergies. So I am hoping with the new synergies that they're going to be adding, which is definitely going to be quite numerous, I'm sure. From what I've seen, it seems like they're trying to add a lot more, which is great. I think we're going to end up seeing some of the less powerful items, or less sought-after items, getting some more interesting synergies, which would be really cool. Getting cooler synergies for, like, Tiny Planet and stuff would be really good. Did that actually hit me? Wow. Do you know what? I am going to just void all of this. Let's open the chest as well and see what we get. Yeah, oh, that's that gone. Goodbye, Penny. No, it came back, but no, the heart didn't quite... Really? Oh my... Oh, by the way, when we fire, we look horrible. We still have eyes in our mouth. Right, I'm going to just hop back in here and see if that becomes gettable. Because currently... Okay, it's gone. Void chest... Yeah, they don't function quite how they're supposed to in crawl spaces. I mean, to be fair, it's understandable. It's a very strange edge case, but yeah, slightly unfortunate. I kind of gave up some rocking pennies there for a chance at greatness, and unfortunately, it was my undoing. As you can see here, I am taking an just awesome amount of damage here. I'm gonna check for a secret room here. I feel it. I was wrong. But yeah, we're taking just an awesome amount of damage here. Just an absolutely absurd amount of damage. So I really need to stop. Oh my god. And at this moment, he then took even more damage. God damn it, Turtle. Why are you so bad at Azazel? He's such an easy character. That's kind of his whole thing, being easy. That's kind of his whole thing. Kidney bean? Oh, God. Unfortunately, that's not great, but honestly, it's better than nothing, so... We are getting pennies on the regular from being able to stompy on pots, which is nice. I'm really hoping that we do get a speed upgrade relatively soon, though, because as much as, like, god damn it, how much damage have we taken so far? As much as I did say I don't think the speed down's that big of a deal, I am really feeling it right now. It's quite horrible, being at less than 1 speed in any regard, so... I mean, I still think it was a good idea to take it. Having Stompy this early is quite nice. I do have to say, it is quite nice to have Stompy this early on, but at the same time, the speed is getting me down just a little bit, and I would like to see that, it's Plum. I would like to see that changed. Oh my god. Okay, so it seems the fountain spewer pots seem to, like, always have a spider in them, maybe? It's kind of hard to say for definite, but so far we've been getting every single one of those little spewer pots has had a spider in it, so we want to be avoiding crushing those by the looks of things. We do have enough to get something from our shop here, so let's take a little look-see. And we do indeed have a reroll machine as well, and hopefully a nickel here. I will buy this just because it's cheap, and we get the nickel there as well. Compost is interesting. I've had some really good runs with Compost, but honestly, let's keep rolling, see if we can get something a little more interesting. Danger, honestly, I'm going to take Danger Room. I feel like Danger Room with Azazel with our close range should yield some decent results. We should hopefully see it proc relatively often. For those of you that don't remember what it does, I haven't seen it yet. Essentially, when a projectile gets really, really close to us, like nearly hits us, we fill up this meter, and once the meter gets so full, it drops a consumable on the floor. And honestly, oh, very nice. That meter's pretty easy to fill. And we will definitely be taking this. Okay. I don't know what health I'm on right now, but it's probably not great. I think I lost all my black hearts there and only just eked out the Deal of the Devil. And I traded on, yeah, I traded on 2 hearts. So I used one and then got one back. Not too bad, honestly, but a little riskier than I'd like to be using, to be honest. These enemies fit in really well. Okay, there you go. See a danger room there? So if we stand near this guy, don't get hit by it. That was a complete waste. But we did see that it refilled again. We've got to be careful about how we use it. And honestly, it's probably not worth doing what I just did there and trying to get something out of it. Ooh, we've got another tinted rock here. Yeah, it's probably not... Oh my god, really? It's probably not worth trying to get something out of it by standing close to shots. It's kind of better if we just do it passively. You can see the meter filling up there. But, I mean, I guess there's some enemies that we know we can avoid but get close to their shots. Maybe in that scenario, it might be something that we want to do, especially if we're particularly low on a certain... Oh my god, look at these little dudes. They're so small. Oh, they're so cute and small. 50% chance to spawn around familiar on here. Okay, I'll take that. Better than pennies on here, I think. But yeah, and I think that we can maybe try and eke something out of that, but for the most part, we're just going to leave it to be the passive item it's intended to be. It's not really intended to be something we abuse. Like, if we've got no keys, then maybe I'll try and abuse it a little bit. But for the most part, we're not really going to get too much out of that. Did my mini chest disappear? Why am I having things disappear on me all the time? Oh my good golly gosh. Kind of spicy up in here. Up in here. Okay, I was really hoping for a tinted rock in this room. Oh, I was going to say, I was really hoping for a tinted rock in this room. We did actually get one. Really? Could you not, please? Ooh, that is so good for us right now. That is so very good for us right now. Getting a full charge upon walking into a boss room essentially means no matter how much of a charge we've got, we're always going to get an extra black heart at the start of a boss fight, which is really, really valuable, I think. I think that's going to increase our health production tenfold. It's going to really help out quite a lot. I'm not going to open that yet, because we do have to fight for it, and we haven't been to our regular item rooms thus far. I think I'd rather get that first. Finally, we get a tinted rock that gives us something good straight away. I know that we just got the hairpin that I shouldn't really be bad-mouthing right now, but still, it's very annoying to get tinted rocks and only get golden chests, I have to say. It is a little bit poo-poo. I was thinking about taking the rainbow worm for like a hot minute. Ooh, very nice. Yeah, I was thinking about taking the rainbow worm for a hot minute just because we could maybe get ourselves... oh, this is kind of a bad use case, but whatever. We could maybe get ourselves the range upgrade on certain rooms, the range worm, which would be very, very nice as Azazel. It's a pretty marketable difference when you have the range upgrade on. So it might be worthwhile doing that, but I honestly think that what we've got going on right now is a little better. I don't think this can be the secret room. Nope. Just looking at it there, I didn't know. Try that out. Sadly, we're not really doing too hot for secret rooms. I'm not going to look anymore. I'm not going to try do that anymore. But yeah, here we go. We get a black heart upon entering immediately. Yet another good thing about this is not only is it just nice to regain some extra HP, it's a really, really nice bit of preparation for Deal the Devils, because we're going to have a very, very good chance of walking in and having enough hearts to use Deal the Devil. I mean, I know most of the time we're going to walk in with enough hearts to do so anyways, but it's just that extra bit of usage. A little bit of HP there. Didn't get rid of a red heart because we didn't have one. Unfortunately, no Deal the Devil this time around. I know that obviously if we look, I could have gone for the Mega Satan path and tried to get Angel Deals, but I saw something that looked pretty good and I went for it, and I'm pretty happy with my purchase, to be honest. I'm not gonna poo-poo this. By the way, I do realize on that previous floor I did miss out on those chests in the challenge room, but honestly, I'm really not all that bothered about them because it did require a key to open the only one that I actually cared about, and I didn't have the key anyways. I probably could have gone to the shop or found some other ways. Well, I couldn't have gone to the shop without a key. I probably could have found some other ways to get around that and find a way to open that chest, especially considering it contains an item. Probably would have been a good idea, but it's okay. I don't think we're gonna have lost anything super amazing. I mean, I can't ever actually say that with 100% certainty, because of course we could have done. But let's pretend at least that that's not the case. Right, let's hop in here. Let's bomb these two and try and get a key. Very, very nice. That was very good haul there. We'll bomb you as well. Wow. This has been a very, very good haul there. So we'll see what we get here. Demon Baby, honestly, with the close range nature of Azazel, I think Demon Baby actually excels much more than he does on any other character. Most other characters, I mean, most other runs, should I say, you very rarely see any sort of big improvement on your run from getting Demon Baby. But in this case, as Azazel, don't you spoonbender on me, you shit. As Azazel, I think that there is going to be a certain bit of extra damage that we're going to gain from having Demon Baby on us. And the thing is as well, I was just about to say we have the manual page, but we don't have that anymore. God damn it. I was going to say the manual page will help us get more Demon Babies by getting hit, but we don't have that on us anymore. We unfortunately didn't have any gulps or anything like that. Little dudes there. We're having a pretty good run, to be honest. One of the obviously best things about any run that has Satanic Bible is you can play it a lot less cautiously. And I honestly, as those of you that watch my channel regularly and watch me play other games such as Nuclear Throne and Enter the Gungeon will know. Okay, we cannot step over those. Do not do that. As you guys will know, I tend to play games very risky and very close to the edge, close to the razor's edge. And having things that enable me to do so, play dumb and get in everyone's face, I can get behind that because, I don't know, it just makes it more fun for me. And I hopefully think it makes it more fun for you. I think being able to be aggressive as Azazel especially is hugely beneficial. We definitely want to go up this way. We have more than enough to make a shop viable here and to get something quite spicy from it. Oh, that's a big spider room. Damn it, we can't hover over the rocks. We keep crushing them. I'll buy this. I know I really shouldn't be buying health considering the amount of health we're going to be getting, but whatever. We don't need that either. The whistle could be good. I do like the whistle, but it isn't active, so let's just take this for now and be happy with it. Pretty big damage improvement. You got to remember that we do have Magic Mush right now, which means that we're going to get quite a lot more damage from any of our damage ups, so we always want to be trying to take those whenever possible. We have flies coming in here, and I don't know where they were coming from. I generated them from something. I don't know. Right. Okay, that definitely cuts down our decision-making time. That room in the Deal the Devil, the red chest room, it's always a blessing and a curse. Because when you've got low health or no red health, it's always a little bit of a toss-up of how worth it is to take Deal the Devils, of course. And you always walk in and think, oh, I'm going to have to make a pretty hard decision here unless there's a really easily chosen item. But sometimes you get that red room and you're like, okay, no hard decisions have to be made today. No hard decisions. Okay, I'm guessing this dude will just die when everything else dies. Indeed he will. It's a very cool enemy there. I like that one a lot. We do have a mammoth dude. Got some spiders, got some pills. I'm not going to bother with him, to be honest. He costs 5 coins a play, and we only have 7 currently, so it's really not worth anything to us. Let's do that. I think we've got Curse of the Fecal, by the way. That's why we're seeing all these fart clouds and dips spawn periodically. Curse of the Fecal is doing that. It's one of my favourite curses in the game now, I think. It changes the game in a way... Well, changes the floor in a way that's got a slight amount of extra interest and a slight amount of extra difficulty without dominating the floor, without making the floor a lot harder or more annoying. I think it's just subtle, but just not subtle enough to work and actually be quite fun. I like it quite a lot. I think it's a pretty cool design space to use. And I think it's got one of those things where it just really fits Isaac's theming. And I know obviously that's kind of like obvious poops fitting Isaac's theme, but I don't know. I think it's just something that I would expect Ed to add into his own game. That's pretty much the long and short of it. It's something that I would very much expect to see from Ed. It's not out of place in any way, shape, or form in this game. And I feel like I've spoken about this ad nauseum multiple times, but I feel like modding in Isaac is a very, very tricky science, and it's a very, very tricky, especially with mods like Fiend Folio and such, where there's just such a large amount of content. It's so difficult to not only balance that content, but make sure it feels right for the game. Like, many people actually do not give a shit whether it feels right in the game or not, and will play with it. But me and I think actually the majority of people that mod games tend to like their lore and immersion, and obviously you don't get immersed in this game, but you know what I mean, to not really be broken and try and keep within the theme and fitting of the game that you're playing. Because, I mean, otherwise, why not just play another game if you're gonna do that? Okay, well, I don't know what the hell this is gonna do. Wow. It's just a straight up huge damage upgrade. That's all it is. Still looking for some more speed. We did get a little bit, at least, from, I think it was Magic Mush. But yeah, I think trying to get things to really fit into the game is difficult. And honestly, I would say, for the most part, the mod packs that I use tend to do a very good job at that. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I use the mods that I do. Like, there's many other mods out there, and obviously one of the big ones is Revelations. And I think Revelations is a pretty dope mod pack. Honestly, I think it's super cool. The content's interesting. There's new floors, new enemies. But in my opinion, in my personal... Okay, I'm having trouble here. In my personal opinion, I really don't think a lot of the content fits the theme of Isaac very well, or at least the original theme of Isaac. And I know that might seem a little petty, and I'm missing out on good content for what to some people will be a small reason, but for me it's quite a big reason. And I think... Oh my god. I think it for me is why I don't use some of the bigger mods like that, because they don't gel as well with the original content, at least in my opinion. And I kind of rate that above all else. Like, obviously there's certain things that can bypass that and can kind of skip that, but for the most part I kind of put that above all else. It's kind of like a sort of checklist of things when I look at mods and look at downloading mods. By the way, this is a very cool looking room. Yeah, it's one of the sort of things, so I have a kind of like a checklist, and like lore-friendly / fitting to the game is kind of sits at the top there. Wow. Wow. Also, these guys are really, really good for farming drops from. And now knowing that we can get soul hearts, it's a little more worthwhile than I expected it to be. I was thinking we just got consumables, but looks like we can get a little bit more out of it than I once assumed, which is perfection. Also, whoa, that was cool. This run is so good. I have to say, this run is mental. Oh my god, thank god we do not get hit by those. But they are what we call in the business lag generators. Very much so, holy hell. These are very cool. These are very, very cool. You need to calm down, sir. Yeah, modding's always been a very big interest of mine, and a lot of people have asked me in the past, like, why I haven't actually got into making mods myself, and there's a few different reasons. One of which is the factor of time with the content that I create. I spend most of my free time either doing YouTube or just playing games that I enjoy, and it leaves little free time for other things, so that's kind of a factor. Cricket's head, no thank you. Another big factor, honestly, it sounds a bit of a weak factor, but I, for those of you that don't know, did computer science with games development as my university degree, and I'm gonna brag a little bit. I have a degree in it now because I've passed my degree. But either way, I was happy with it. It was okay, but unfortunately, it highlighted that I really don't like coding. I went into it really enjoying coding, and I love doing it in my spare time, and I'd practice it, and I'd made a few small little projects and stuff, but then after uni, it just absolutely killed all of my enjoyment for coding, like completely. And I don't think that was the university's fault to a certain degree. Certain parts of it definitely were, because we had a few lecturers that were just horrendous and made things less enjoyable. But the other big thing is just I realised that there was other parts of computer science that I enjoyed a lot more, and surprisingly so, which many people will probably find very strange, especially those of you that did computer science, if any of you. I actually much more... Ooh, chaos, yes. I actually much more enjoy the documentation side of things, building up sort of detailed documentation on how things work and what things do. Transfer... Ooh, we've got enough health to do this, let's just go for it. Ayo. Raw leather's pretty good. We'll take that for the bookworm. We'll do a bit of re-rolling here to see if we get any other good items from... What's it called? Torn photo, dead cat. There you go. That's the sort of stuff I'm talking about. But yeah, and I kind of realised that was the sort of aspect of computer science that I liked a lot more. And that's actually what got me into the job I'm in today. Like, I do a lot of documentation and that side of things within the job that I'm in right now. And yeah, I enjoy that side of it a lot more. And yeah, I just, like, I think if I took the time and really sat down and gave it a few weeks, I could probably get back into coding and modding and do a relatively decent job of it. Oh, by the way, another thing as well, which is obviously a way smaller problem, is I'm terrible at art, which means that I'd have to get someone to work with me to make items because I'd need an artist, and that's kind of a big thing, like finding someone that could do that. I do have some people that could help me, but I don't want to be a burden on people. And yeah, maybe at some point I'll get back into it. Makes a shop your starting room, will teleport you into a random room. Okay, it's kind of cool. But yeah, maybe I'll get back into it at some point, and maybe it's one of those things where I just need to give myself enough time away from coding. I mean, I've already been away from it for like 3 years now, so quite a lot of time already. But maybe with a bit more time, I'll start to appreciate it again and get back into it the way I used to. But I don't know. It's not the peak of my interest right now, and I much more prefer, like I said, with the documentation side, giving feedback and playing the mods and helping them become better in that regard, rather than the actual coding aspect myself. And the good thing about it as well is, because I come from a computer science background and coding background, even though I don't do the coding myself, I understand a lot of how things work, and the Dominic, and the limitations of the games that I play, or the mods that I use. So, like, one big problem with my sort of role in a lot of the mod communities I'm in is people that suggest items are never popular. We'll crack these open. Distant admiration. Yeah, people that suggest mods are never popular. Mainly because most people that suggest ideas have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. And so they suggest ideas that are completely improbable, overly difficult, and just wouldn't ever work, or like is ridiculously beyond belief. And that's where a lot of like the I won't say hatred, but a lot of the anger from mod developers that comes from people suggesting things, because a lot of people suggest really stupid shit that would be cool if it was possible, but just obviously isn't. And I think people that come from a background where you know how mods are created, and you know the language, or you know the game itself and how it's created, you can much more easily come up with ideas that are a lot more probable, and a lot more likely to be able to be made by a mod developer. And I like to think, at least, that the suggestions for both fixes, changes, and new ideas that I give. This is a just hellish room. I hate this. I'm just going to do this and re-roll the enemies, because unfortunately that champion variant is awful and does not work with these Bertram dudes kind of at all. Okay, there you go. And I hope at least that the criticisms I give, the feedback I give, the ideas I give to anyone in any of the mod communities that I'm part of aren't taken in a way that is annoying. I really hope so. And I think I do a good job making sure that the things that I suggest are realistic and like obtainable and not annoying. I mean, as guys know that watch this series, and as some of the mod developers that are probably watching this episode will know, I can be very, very harsh with my judgments and with my criticisms of certain mods. But usually, or most of the time, it's in good faith, and it's always to try and better the mods that are created. Wow, that's a cool enemy. And also, this room's very cool as well. Yeah, I think it is. I try to always make sure it comes from a good place. One thing I will admit to is I quite often will give my feedback about something I dislike directly after a very bad encounter with said thing. Not a good idea, because I normally say things that I do mean. I'm not normally. I don't say things that I don't mean, but normally I say things that I do mean, but I say them in a way that is less than productive. I'll normally say, that's dumb, that's fucking stupid, this needs to be changed right away, it's broken as fuck, all this sort of stuff. That's kind of my my jump to whenever I get angry at a game, or a part of a mod or something broken, which is not the healthiest way to discuss it, honestly. I try to avoid doing that when I can. Sometimes I will say that and stand by it. One of the big... Okay, there's some crazy shit going on right now. One of the big times that I will say that I did that and kind of outbursted some rage at a mod idea that I disliked a lot. Ooh, that looks cool. 1 second, I'll read that in just a second. But one of them was when the conjoined baby things, the Geminis came from the Gapers. That was possibly one of the most busted things I've ever seen in a mod. Ever. But the mod team were very understanding of my criticisms of that, and did change the enemy to be much more interesting. I really like the rework. Enemies have a chance to be imprisoned. Imprisoned enemies will reflect Isaac's tears. Ooh, that's very cool. I love that idea. We'll take that. That's a very cool idea. Let's jump on down. Remember that we're going to Light Path. We're going up. But yeah, I think I want to see one of these imprisoned enemies. I think for the most part I do a good job, and I know that a lot of this series, and this happens quite often, I'd say like once in every 3 episodes, I do one of these big sort of rants or discussions more so about modding, and it's just because I'm quite passionate about it. It's something that I really enjoy talking about, and I think at least for some of you viewers out there, it's enjoyable to hear about the process of being involved with the mod communities, or hearing from the mods, or giving my feedback on what I'm playing. And I imagine at least a good amount of you by now are watching my series over someone like Northern Lions, maybe for my personality, but also for the for the fact that I'm playing modded. And I think talking about the mods as we play them and discussing them as we come across them is kind of a big part of that as well. Like, for example, when Repentance comes out, I'm not just going to play Repentance, I'm going to discuss everything I like and dislike about it, things that I feel could be improved, things that I love, things that I hate. There's going to be a lot of discussion about the gameplay and the new aspects at hand, and the exact same goes for modded content. I always try to give my fair review, and especially because, obviously, unlike with Repentance, I'm in direct contact with the creators of these mods, and so I feel like I can at least sway the influence of the mod balance a little more heavily. I like to think that my opinion holds at least a little bit of weight in the modding community of both Isaac and Enter the Gungeon. Often in Enter the Gungeon's world, I kind of have sort of powwows with Never Named, because he's probably one of the biggest mod developers now that's still active. He still makes a lot of mods and has an absolutely massive update coming to his Once More Into the Breach mod for Enter the Gungeon very shortly. That is going to be like... It literally is going to add like 2 or 3 DLCs worth of extra content in a single update. It already adds like 4 DLCs worth of content, so it's going to be insane. It's an absolutely huge addition to his mod, and a lot of things have been overhauled and added along with that as well. God damn, this is just a hellscape of a room. Yeah, and me and him kind of have these sort of powwow sessions where we kind of, mostly on a day-to-day basis, like, we talk most days, but, like, mostly on kind of a day-to-day basis, at least-ish, we discuss ideas, he shows me items that he's created, and we kind of discuss the balance of them, and ways to improve them. One of the big things that I help with, or at least I hope I help with, oh, that enemy's so cool. I can't wait for these things to come to, Repentance, because they're actually going to be added. Not them exactly, but enemies very similar. Yeah, one of the big things I help with, or at least hope I help with, is synergies. I give a lot of ideas for synergies to Never Named, and I basically regularly, like once every few weeks, I'll go through his new items and just think up my own ideas for synergies. Also, we are taking a beating right now. It is crazy how much harder the womb is in this mod, in Fiend Folio, and I actually really appreciate that. I think Isaac had gotten a little bit stale in terms of difficulty, because the later floors really don't feel much more difficult at all. The only thing that's more difficult about the later floors in this game is sometimes you find bosses in rooms and you take full heart damage, but on the other side of that, do you know what, we'll use the Fool card. We'll go in here and use the Fool card. On the other side of that, like, normally you're more than powerful enough to deal with the bosses, and you have more than enough health to deal with the offset of how much HP you lose. So it really doesn't add all that much difficulty at all to... oh god, these guys are going to be hard to dodge. Oh my god, yep, they are. Yeah, like, I think that it doesn't really add all that much difficulty at all, to be honest. By the way, the sack of sacks, is that where we've been getting those blue sacks from? They're like a different variant of sacks. That's kind of cool, if that's true. I like that little new interaction. It kind of nerfs sack of sacks, but also in a way that's very interesting, and adds some actually, like, unique and cool aspects to it. I like that a lot. I mean, I wouldn't even say it's a nerf, really. It's just a change. But I like that. I think that's really cool. Kind of like the way they did Dark Bum, where they made him spawn flies and spiders sometimes. Although I do wish when he spawned flies and spiders, it'd be more than one at a time. It is a bit cheap that he spawns one. What the... How are you meant to avoid that? How are you meant to avoid that? It's probably a very, very simple way, and I'm just dumb. So I'm not going to comment on the room itself, because I'm probably just dumb. It's more than likely the explanation. So our range is still hurting us in a pretty major way here. But one thing about this that's good is the danger meter is going to be filling crazy quick. And we didn't even get an Emperor card from that, which saves us pootering around on the next floor too much. Oh, I can't believe I got hit there. Oh, baby, baby. Do. Well, another thing that I kind of want to say, or touch on at least, with the whole idea of talking about mods so much in these episodes, is this is just like a really good outlet for me. As I've mentioned previously, one of the big reasons I really enjoy doing YouTube rather than, oh my god, can you fuck off? Oh, I can't hit the dude. One of the big reasons I really enjoy doing YouTube rather than just playing the games myself on my own is that, oh my god, we're so dead. We're so dead. One of the big reasons is that, oh, thank you for that. I really just like having a platform to speak my mind and say what I'm thinking. Wow, Danger Meter is helping us so much right now. I'm so glad I picked it up. I actually kind of think that we should farm it for a little bit. If I don't get hit like that. He is dead. Okay, let's suck all that up. I will take that, though. Unfortunately, nothing really that good. Let's jump on in. Right, what's our health on? Pretty bad. Okay, that's good. That's good. All this is good so far. That's very good too. Okay, we got some really good stuff there. We got some really good stuff there. But yeah, it's just like a nice platform for me to speak my mind and say what I'm thinking about the things that I'm playing, but also just like life. And I don't know, I've always been a person that has a lot to say about just everything. I just talk a lot, which is probably quite annoying to some of the people that I know in real life. But on here, it's a blessing. I've got so much to say, so much to talk about, that it just flows freely from my body. And I have a nice little chat. It's lovely. And I get to play some of my favourite games. It gives me a really good excuse to come back to games as well. Like, for example, I mean, Binding of Isaac. I kind of quit playing Binding of Isaac for quite a long time. I wouldn't say, like, quit officially. I didn't ever think up, never touching that game again. But I just kind of went on a hiatus where I just didn't really play it. Oh my god, this game's lagging so much right now. I just kind of went on a hiatus where I just didn't play the game. I didn't pick it up for a really long time. I'd say, like, 6 months or so, maybe longer. And then YouTube obviously came along, and after I finished Gungeon for the first time, people requested Isaac. So I started playing Isaac again, and I've been playing it, obviously, pretty much at least twice a week, really, for, like, how long now? Like 2.5 years? Really long time. Quite a long time indeed. And I'm really grateful for that, because it's like I wouldn't have ever probably touched this mod, and I wouldn't be anywhere near as hyped as I am for Repentance currently. I think it would have really drastically changed my thought process and output on some of these mods. And as well, like, I think another really big thing, and I know this sounds slightly big-headed, which it is a little bit, I will admit. I hope that because I've been playing this game and Enter the Gungeon, I've had some extra, I wouldn't even say influence, but some extra reason for some of the mod creators to carry on doing what they do and updating their mods, because, like, I know that, unfortunately, at the minute, no one is really covering Into the Gungeon on YouTube that I know of. Anyone that's a sort of name that I can recognise. There's not really anyone that's regularly covering the game, especially not modded. So I think that's a really good platform for Nevernamed to be able to show off his content, and a reason for him to keep making his content, because it's enjoyable for me and it's enjoyable for viewers and it gets more people playing it. And to a certain extent, I think it's the same with Ipecac. Obviously, Fiendfolio got a lot bigger of a spotlight, but that's because it's been a hyped mod for quite a long time. But Fiendfolio, Ipecac, sorry, is one that I haven't really seen as much hubbub about on YouTube. Of course, we got Chemicat doing God's work, and Huts has played it a few times, which is pretty awesome. But I don't know of any series that currently use it. If you do know of any, especially you mod developers, do let me know, because I'd be really interested to watch some other people's thoughts on this. What the hell is this room? Holy shit. That's a bit pinny. That's a little bit pinny for me. Joker? Please give me soul hearts. God damn it. Okay, I do think we're going to die here. Or maybe not. Or maybe not. There is a chance. But this, as Azazel, is a pretty bad situation. Essentially, it's all down to our safety meter, or whatever you want to call it, because we cannot get in there with this dude. We just can't. We are spawning many of the dudes. The lovers is really good. I'm going to plop that down there. So we might need that soon. Do you know what? We're going to be fine here, I think. Indeed we were. Very nice. Okay. Danger meter, like danger room, whatever you call it, absolutely saved our life there. What a fantastic little run. And we got Abaddon, finally. I was wondering how we unlocked that. Awesome to see that come about. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this little episode. We had a nice little discussion about modding and everything else, and we played a very good run. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.